Welcome back to the T-Bird podcast, coming at you on the 28th of April, 2025. This is a very special stream for me. I've got a very honored guest sharing the space with me today. If you don't know who he is, his name is KG from Internet Money Wallet. Without any further ado, I'd like to invite KG to introduce himself, and especially for a lot of people that might be tuning in that might not be familiar with who you are, and your and a bit of your backstory with how you got started with Hex and PulseChain, and how you found Richard Hart and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, apologies for that. There was just a small echo, but I got it fixed. Yes, T-Bird, thanks for having me on today. I appreciate you. You've been putting in so much work out there on X for the community. It's been, for anybody who's followed you, it's been very evident and obvious for the grinding you've put in out there. So as a fellow PulseChain community member, I appreciate your efforts as well. Yes, my name is KG. I'm the founder of the Internet Money Wallet, and we are an Ethereum wallet. So if you are familiar with a wallet like MetaMask, we support all EVM chains like MetaMask does. One major difference is we are native to PulseChain. So if you're a PulseChain user, that's a very important point, because unlike other wallets that might work with PulseChain, the Internet Money Wallet is really optimized for PulseChain. So you can still use it with all your other favorite chains, but with that special feature that we're optimized for PulseChain and have more features for PulseChain than any other wallet in existence right now. We're available on Android, iOS, and Chrome. So whatever is the chosen platform for you, we're trying to make it more available. As far as how I got involved in Hex and PulseChain, I've been in crypto deep for about 5 years now. I've known about crypto basically the whole time it's been alive, but when I learned about it, it was Bitcoin on the Silk Road. If you're familiar with, I'm sure you are, being an internet degen.
Yep.
So the Silk Road, everything used to be priced in Bitcoin, and that's actually how I learned about what Bitcoin was, because I was like, what do these numbers mean? And so that kind of started the rabbit hole. I was in high school when that happened, actually. And no, I didn't buy it. It was about $80 or something like that is what I remember. I didn't have $80 to buy it then. I was a broke high school kid, that would have been a ton of money, $80. But so no, I didn't buy any then, but it came on my radar. And so I've always been interested in crypto, but about 5 years ago is when the passion and the addiction to the whole industry really kicked off. And it just started with insert coin here. I mean, I was getting into everything. I was just addicted to buying coins. And if one was more complicated to acquire, that became the game for me. How can I configure my settings to buy this crazy? I don't even know if it's going to do good. I just like it and want to own it. And
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was just going to quickly intercede there, just exactly on what you're talking about there. That I think that's probably, if my guess is correct, that would have led you to something like Hex, because when Hex first came about, you really needed to navigate your way through a maze of barriers to entry just in order to be able to figure out how to get it. So yeah, I'm sure that aspect would have appealed, and that was something that appealed to me as well when I first started dabbling into crypto properly as well. And it was around about the same time when I jumped into. It was sort of around the halvening of 2020. Was when I began my journey into looking into everything crypto, and yeah, it was just on the cusp of DeFi booming. So yeah, sorry, continue.
No, but you hit the nail on the head. My partner the co-founder rather of the Internet Money Wallet, his name is Don Montoya. We're father son co-founders on the wallet, which is actually one one core thing about the team. It's like, well, you can't really shake that team. We're not just random dudes on the internet that know each other. But he actually, believe it or not, found Hex before me. And I'm the internet nerd. And
Wow.
yes. And he found it before me. But once I got in, and the two of us were really able to break down the game theory and get really technological with it, it was, the roof blew off. And then we found the PulseChain community before PulseChain even existed, right? We were I want to say we were there in the first days of the idea of PulseChain even being a thing. And
Yeah.
so for the first time in both of our crypto careers, we had a real community. Before that, it was just, you might talk to someone on Reddit about a coin for a comment or two, right? But now you had this codified community thing, and that was the first we had found that. So it really made it sticky for us.
Yeah, and then there was the period of time when Telegram became a thing, where crypto communities, like the whole voice chat technological upgrade happened. That was sort of around the beginning of 2021, late 2020, early 21, when communities in crypto started to come together and and form forces on there to be able to communicate with each other and to figure out what's going on with DeFi and all that. It was a crazy time back then. What I want to ask you is, what initially compelled you to focus on building out, in the context of like what you've actually built with your internet money wallet? So like you being like, pretty hardcore in the context of the technical side of things with building products and all that. Why did you choose to create a wallet versus something else, some other kind of tool or product on in blockchain?
Fair question. So I have a background personally of very technical endeavors and just being a tech nerd in general. And both myself and Don, the co-founder of Internet Money, we've both also have a lot of experience in sales, human relations, human experience, human connectivity, whatever you want to call that aspect of reality. And so in going back to those early days of the PulseChain Telegram, because believe it or not, that Telegram chat played a big part in answering this question. There was a point in time where 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, there was over 100 people in that PulseChain Telegram chat, just talking all day, all night about PulseChain, about crypto.
Mm-hmm.
And there became this point in time where all the regulars in there, and I was a regular in there at that time, realized, oh, wait, PulseChain can't be an empty blockchain. It's great that we have this chain now, but what's going to be on this chain, right? So then the going thought in that room became talking about building on PulseChain. So in the early days, what was funny is I took a lot of slings and arrows, and so did some other builders, that we weren't even allowed to talk about building on PulseChain to a degree. So that's a whole other, we'll go there in a minute. But to ultimately answer your question, when these teams started to form around ideas of things that needed to be built on PulseChain, Don and I wanted to play our role in making the chain successful. And what made the most sense for us was something that would reach out to people, show people this thing that we have, and onboard them into it, which ultimately becomes a human relation and a sales problem. And so the wallet, a wallet in crypto in general, being the thing that 99.9% of people use coming into the crypto space, it just made the most sense for us with our skills, our human skills, our tech skills, and the thing that nobody else also was talking about, bringing the PulseChain. Everybody was talking about this protocol, that protocol, this coin, that idea, which is great. We need all that. But nobody was talking about the core central thing of how are people going to interact with all that. So that's kind of how the wallet spawned for us.
Sure. And at the time, like when that Telegram group, the PulseChain Telegram room was really buzzing, and all the builders were coming in and brainstorming ideas and talking about, and speculating about all the different things that could be potentially launching on it. I'm sure, yeah. So the thought I would suspect would have run past you with regard to MetaMask.
Mm-hmm.
And the thought might have been, okay, well, can we, is it possible to actually build something that can actually compete with MetaMask that isn't compromised in some way by some kind of shady entity behind the scenes that can sort of dictate like the metamorphosis, if that's the right word, of how DeFi wallets are going to end up in the future. So did you have sort of that inkling that, because during that time, like even sort of like even towards the end of 21, early 22, MetaMask was still sort of like, I mean, it didn't have much competition, but it wasn't,
right.
It didn't feel like it was compromised yet in terms of the centralized control behind it. And we only just started to notice the creep into, and why I'm bringing all this up now is because I want to segue to what I think is your most powerful feature that you have in your wallet is the security and privacy element to it, which I don't think is emphasized enough in DeFi. So maybe if you'd like to talk about the security and privacy features of your wallet and how what you've built for your wallet in that context differs from the other wallets.
Sure. So one thing that Internet Money Wallet does that I don't know of any other wallet in crypto right now that's doing this. Not to say it doesn't exist, just to say that I haven't found it. And I interact with a lot of crypto wallets. We're always out there looking and downloading. So one main thing that we do that no other wallet does, to my knowledge, is we don't collect any data. And when I say no data, I mean that without any asterisks or disclaimers, or no data. It's that simple. And why that's powerful really is two reasons. And I'm sure there's more, but two main reasons. Reason number one is the best way to protect users' data is to not have it. If we get data breached, they get nothing. So, that probably means that data breachers are not even incentivized to try. But if they don't believe us and they want to say, oh, I really want to see if these guys are collecting data, okay, that's fine. They can spend the time, energy, and effort to try to breach the data. And if they do, it's nothing. There's nothing there, which leads into point number two. We are an American-based company. We work with American engineers. Myself and my co-founder are American citizens living in America. And so to do all that, you have to meet certain rules, regulations, and laws. At any time, we've seen what the American government does with their tyranny in the SEC and the other things they do. At any time, they can demand things from American companies. Maybe one day they decide to demand our users' data for whatever reason. Great. Here it is. And it's nothing. So collecting no data is so powerful. And maybe people don't care about that. And that's fine if you don't, no judgments. But for the people that do, there you go. And for the people that don't, you get the benefit anyways. And so that was one of the things that we focused on first and foremost. And so the one downside to that, though, is it can take us a little longer to collect the information we need because we rely completely on user feedback. It can take us a little longer to maybe work something out technologically within the wallet because we rely completely on user feedback. So it really is a wallet by the people for the people because the community has to rally around helping us build it up, which has its pros and cons.
Yeah, and like everything, there's always going to be pros and cons, but the pros far outweigh the cons with regard to how you've set everything up privacy wise and security wise. So another question I have for you is, have you ever been in direct discussions with Richard Hart since you began the build out of the wallet in the early days? And if you have, can you share anything about what was discussed?
I have never had a private conversation with Richard about the wallet necessarily. Richard and we have communicated about things publicly. I've talked to Richard publicly a few times. We've chatted privately a few times, but no, Richard has never said something like, yes, this is going to be the wallet that I choose for PulseChain. And I don't want, he's never said he won't, but he's never said he will. And really, most the essence of our conversation have always been, what can I do as an individual to help him create a successful ecosystem? And so, I haven't talked to Richard recently, so hey, SEC or whoever, if you're listening, no, he still doesn't respond to DMs. That is a true statement. But we've worked very hard to try and build a good, reputable brand so that if Richard should choose to support a wallet that isn't one he decides to build, that why wouldn't he choose the Internet Money wallet? So when we make our decisions, is it in line with an ethos that can be supported by people who care about true crypto principles? And it seems that RH does. So it would be an honor if he would promote the Internet Money wallet as his chosen wallet. But, no, we haven't had any substantial discussions about it.
Okay, and that then leads to the next question, which would be, why do you think that because he hasn't been hesitant to celebrate other groups within the PulseChain ecosystem with some of their tools that they've built out, like since the time of PulseChain's launch and so forth. So what do you think is some of the reasons why Richard may not have wanted to mention your wallet? Because I mean, it would have to go without saying that he's surely seen you on the map at some point with what you've been doing. So it's not like he can sort of be like, oh, like you haven't come across you before, don't know you you can't play the stupid card, don't know that you exist or anything like that. So what do you think is the would be the leading catalyst behind why he hasn't said anything about your wallet? Do you think it's a competition thing or something else?
Well, he has said, so I'm going to show you three things here real quick, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I got my screen share, but I'm also pulling up something else. You give me
No, that's all right. Let me know if I need to do anything on my end to help you share the screen.
All right, so my screen is shared. If you just pull it up on the, yep. Okay, so this is the main PulseChain website, right? This is, if you go to pulsechain.com, this is what you see.
Yep.
Now, at the very top, if you see this little buy PLS button, you click on that. This is pretty cool.
There you go.
That's pretty cool.
That's funny because I actually remembered that happened recently, and I actually completely forgot about that.
Yep. So that's
I'm glad you reminded me of that.
yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, and then there's one more. I'll show you, or there's two more actually. So there's that one. All right, I'm gonna have to stop sharing and reshare. There is right here. Okay.
So that then would beg the question: why would he have put out these teaser tweets recently about his own wallet? Trying to ascertain feedback from to everyone on Twitter with regard to his own build out, or is that sort of just some of his more cryptic? I don't know, his cryptic. Is there some sort of cryptic message associated with that? I don't know.
Well, even if okay, I don't ever want to say the words Richard endorsed Internet Money Wallet because he has not, right? And so I can't say that. But there's, in my opinion, people are open to disagree. There clearly seems to be some level of support, right? We're on the main PulseChain website. That doesn't mean that, he's not also going to build his own wallet, and maybe his wallet will have features that Internet Money Wallet doesn't. Maybe his wallet will be centered around, I don't know, some niche or something. And maybe it's a conjunction thing. Maybe the best experience on PulseChain is going to be using Richard's wallet and Internet Money Wallet. So, maybe he doesn't, because there is a cool level of control that you get when you build a wallet, because you get to put the features you want in there and make things. Yeah. So maybe there's features that he doesn't want to put in his wallet that we have.
So to that point, I think there's going to be most likely an interesting collaborative harmony between your wallet and his wallet, in the sense of there'll be some features that you'll have that he might not be bothered to put on his because you've already done it on yours, and vice versa.
Sure. So
I think ultimately there is a high probability that the two wallets will be there, and then they'll be able to offer their own respective feature sets. Yeah.
Agreed. And all right, so I shared my screen again if you want to pull it up.
Yep.
So this was about a year ago. He put this tweet out.
Yes, and I was just about to mention that just before, that I had vaguely remembered him actually putting out an explicit tweet applauding your work. Not necessarily explicitly saying in the tweet that he endorsed your product or anything,
of course,
but it was still a solid shout out. And that's a big deal coming from Richard. So
exactly. And my favorite thing about what he shared here is that he said he shared our GitLab, which another great thing about the wallet, Internet Money Wallet, is it's open sourced. So to me, him sharing the GitLab link, I personally took that as, oh, well, he appreciated the open source aspect. And that felt like a win. It felt like, okay, look, open source was the right move. And we always knew it was going to, we were always going to go open source, but it's just, we do these things that take a lot of time, energy, and effort to do right, and to be validated and acknowledged in those things, which are done right and are good things. Anyways, open source is a good thing. For that to be the virtue that gets stood up, yep, feels good. And I'll show you one final thing as well.
Sure.
All right, here it is. So this is the main PulseChain Bridge website. All right, just, PulseChain Bridge, my pinata, all that. So we're on the main PulseChain Bridge. And if you click on Connect Wallet, there are 3 default wallet options shown. This is not my configuration. This is the configuration of the bridge itself. Every user sees this. So for us to be put up there with Rabby and MetaMask and us, to me, that says a lot to say that.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, that's. I mean, to me, that's you cannot get a stronger endorsement, in my opinion, when you've got your wallet alongside MetaMask and Rabby on, as configured on the main link to the PulseChain bridge. Yeah, the main link to that. So
when I saw that this was live, that was a good day. That was a good day for me.
Yeah.
So those are the three. Those are the three things.
And that sort of connects over to my next question, which would be, and hoping to get some clarity from you on this one.
Mm-hmm.
So with wallets like MetaMask and Rabby, there's sort of like I don't know what because I'm not a dev. I'm not, I don't necessarily have the technical background, but I don't know what the specific terminology is. But when you connect, say for example, I don't know, one of the DEX aggregators of PulseChain, Pataeus, for example, you go to the main Pataeus link, you connect your wallet over to, because you need to, sign the transaction, process the transactions in the wallet, and the wallet comes up when it's ready to execute.
Mm-hmm.
Why, for people that are not too familiar with wallet infrastructure, how have you set up the Internet Money wallet differently to how MetaMask and Rabby operates when you're interacting with these different front ends, DeFi front ends? Can you get into that a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. And to give you some vote of confidence, well, I'll save it for the end. All right. So you guys stick around for the end of the explanation to hear the bullish news. Okay. So there are 3 main wallet connection types. There's Wallet Connect, as you see here, which the Internet Money Wallet is completely integrated with, optimized for. We work with the Wallet Connect team to make sure we're optimized. So we are as integrated and optimized for Wallet Connect as a wallet can possibly be.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 95% of DApps in crypto have Wallet Connect functionality. What happened was a year ago, there was what was called Wallet Connect V1. Now, what you're looking at here is Wallet Connect V2. Wallet Connect decided to sunset Wallet Connect V1, which sunset in the software, for those that don't know, means turn it off. They turned it off. So that threw the industry in kind of a, because now it forced all wallets and all dApps to upgrade, which wasn't necessarily a light undertaking. So that kind of made Wallet Connect not be as universal because, a lot of dApps are smaller teams and haven't updated it. But anyways, about 95% of crypto dApps are using Wallet Connect, and so it's okay. But the experience that everybody's used to when using Rabby and MetaMask is an experience called an injected provider. Now, what that does is a connection method not relying on Wallet Connect, and it's that experience you're used to where the wallet pops up in a little window that overlays on the screen, and you click, 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 and then it goes away, and you do your transaction. Internet Money Wallet does not have that functionality at this time. And then there's a third connection method that is MetaMask specific, where some dApps only support MetaMask, period. And so you have to build a special integration to piggyback on that MetaMask only support. So even though Rabby would support injected, they have a special functionality that piggybacks on that dApp that only supports MetaMask. Internet Money Wallet does not yet have that functionality. Here comes the bullish news. Right now, today, and for the last couple of weeks, we've been working on implementing those 2 other wallet connection methods, the injected provider and the MetaMask only. So very soon, you're going to have the same experience they are used to having with Rabby, with MetaMask when connecting to dApps. We're also going to have a lot of people have been requesting this. This has actually been our #1 most requested feature for the last year and a half is an in-app browser. So if you have, for those who haven't used an in-app browser, basically what it is when you're in your Internet Money wallet, there's going to be a browser like a Google Chrome or an Internet Explorer or Firefox. That's a browser where you can click that and you can navigate the internet through your Internet Money wallet, and you'll just be automatically connecting to dApps much more natively, much more simply. So this is what makes MetaMask so powerful, is their in-app browser plus all that other stuff I said. And so we're going to have all of that very soon.
That sounds incredible. And I'm sure a lot of people that are listening to this right now will be feeling very excited to hear that news, that all those upgrades and feature add-ons are coming very soon. So is there any possibility that we could get an approximate timeline as to how long that would come about?
Okay, I'll give you an approximate timeline if everybody takes it only as a guess.
You're going to say 2 weeks, right?
I wouldn't dare say 2 weeks. I'll say 2 weeks in a day. No. So we have been working on it for a few weeks now. And I would legitimately estimate 3-ish weeks until we're testing it in our private beta group. So, hey, if you're out there, anybody, if you're interested in testing new features on the Internet Money Wallet, shoot us a DM on X and we can get you into our alpha group, which is where we test all the features before we push them live. So I would estimate 3 or so weeks before we're there. And then usually we stay in that alpha group for a few weeks just to test. We can only test so much internally. We need other human beings to test it too. And so if all goes well, I'd say a month and a half to 2 months.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, within a 2-month framework, yeah, that's with still plenty of time left of 2025 to really sort of get your hands dirty on using the wallet with those feature add-ons, while still being deep in the bull cycle. Yeah, the timing actually could inadvertently or either intentionally or unintentionally actually work out perfectly for you. And for DeFi, overall, and PulseChain itself, because yeah, just with as you would know, just with everything that's happened recently with Rabby and just the mistreatment from them, having PulseChain integrated with them, and then for whatever reason taking us off, it's like we need a home for all the PulseChain users to be able to just not have to worry about waking up one morning and then
such a good point.
And then it's like, sorry guys, we're taking you off. Screw you. And it's like, come on, what's wrong with you?
That's such a powerful point, because look, I give credit where credit is due, and Rabby's a great wallet, and they have features that we aspire to have in our wallet too. The Internet Money Wallet. The issue as a community, though, when we use our voice and our attention capital to promote non-in-house products, even if it's not just the wallet, while there is the benefit of, hey, eyes outside of the echo chamber are coming in, there's the negative that we're pointing people and bringing all this attention to a product that adopted us rather than was born from us. And so we did it with Rabby, and look what happened. We're doing it now with another wallet, OKX. Hey, fine. If that's your wallet, all good. They have great features too. They do jurisdiction block people, which is weird and not crypto. That's a different story. But
Yeah.
what if the same thing happens again? We use our community voice and our attention capital. We bring users over there.
Well, I can only speak for myself, but haven't had a single shred of intent to try to lead people over to OKX wallet. In the same way that we were doing it with Rabby, because I think overall in the beginning Rabby was relatively neutral. There was no, and it was just like the wallet product, and they're sort of they're linked to what's that chain analysis. DBank, yeah. So
Yep.
so they're directly connected to DBank, and so that's sort of like, but OKX is sort of, it's affiliated with the OKX exchange, right? Centralized exchange, already murky waters, especially after they delisted PulseChain, like after the SEC attacked us. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm not going to go there.
Well, and this isn't to disparage another wallet. Again, they have great features. But what it's to say ultimately is that people can look at the Internet Money Wallet and say, look, it doesn't have the features that I want yet. Okay, that's fine. If it's not the product that fulfills what you need, then that is what it is. That's an objective reality. Okay, that's fine. We all have different needs as crypto users. But what you can guarantee is that by using your attention capital to at least make Internet Money Wallet part of your rhetoric in the conversation, is that one day it will have those features, and you can guarantee that there will never be a post that says we no longer support PulseChain. So while supporting, again, the products that were born from PulseChain, it helps them grow to add new features that you're looking for without the risk of them leaving the thing behind. So if the community, people like yourself having this stream, I believe I've even seen you put tweets out there, positive tweets about Internet Money and the time token.
I've been tracking it since the beginning. So, and I've been very impressed.
See, things like that.
And that's not even talking about the specific coins that are actually in your your specific ecosystem that's been tracking pretty well as well. And you're welcome to speak on those coins if you want, if you wanted to go into more depth on those, and
Sure.
how they actually integrate with the product itself and their primary functions.
Sure. Yeah, I'll bring it up. But and just to finish that thought, it's people like you using your attention capital to talk about the Internet Money Wallet, which ultimately helps us grow, which ultimately helps us feed back to the loop.
You deserve it as a founder, and your product deserves it because it's been fully battle tested for a very long period of time. And as a builder, you have been constantly, improving the product along the way consistently. So yeah, it deserves it deserves that attention capital. I would argue that there's not that many other products with the kind of consistency that you've had since the launch itself 2 years ago. That really is worthy. And just want to quickly mention that you can't have a fully vertically integrated ecosystem in DeFi without a wallet. So
Exactly.
I'm sure that even just that element alone would have played into your reasoning regarding your incentive for focusing on making a wallet versus some other tool, like whether it's, you can name a whole different host of different tools that are still necessary in DeFi, but in purely in the context of vertical integration, on ramping and off ramping, bridging, because the wallet is everything is in house with the wallet. It facilitates almost everything. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that.
No, you are absolutely correct. And that is, again, the long-term benefit of the wallet by the community for the community is we can start to build out not only PulseChain wide stuff. Like, for example, we have a fiat on-ramp directly into PulseChain. Smaller limits, yes, but that's out of our control because these providers, they dictate those limits. But we have a cross-chain swap where you can bridge in and out of PulseChain to 27 different blockchains right now. We have, on-chain swapping for PulseChain. We actually have the access to more liquidity in our on-chain swap than any other
Yeah,
source on
and
PulseChain.
I use the swaps on the wallet all the time, and I've actually noticed, like, over time, how the UI of the swaps, the swapping feature, as well as just the functionality of the swaps has actually, just subtly improved over time.
Thank you for noticing.
Unless you use it, unless you use it a lot, or unless you've used it for an extended period of time, you're not necessarily going to notice those subtle changes. But I'm definitely one of those people that have noticed them. And yeah, the UI is great, easy to use. And on the subject of the bridge, I wanted to ask you why there's a maximum a limit to how much you can quantity-wise bridge between chains, or is it chain specific with how much with quantity maximums with what you can transfer between chains, and does that have something to do with the bridge provider? I don't know if that's the right terminology. It's with, you guys are with Change now. Is that correct? That facilitates the bridging.
Yes. So yeah, sure. So for our cross-chain swap feature, we leverage Change now, and it's not just the chain that has limits. It's even the pair you're bridging. We call it changing within our wallet too. So, for instance, if you go from ETH to Base, there might be a larger limit than Ethereum to Binance or whatever. So it actually depends on which chain you're going to and from. And
Okay.
we have zero control of those limits. We have been pestering them because we're building a relationship with Change now. And so we've been pestering them for months about, can we increase these limits for PulseChain? Because sometimes they're $100, sometimes they're $3,000. They fluctuate. And the biggest response we get, the most consistent response is more people, we need more volume, right? So as more people use the feature in the wallet, we as a community stand a greater chance to increase those limits, which doesn't just help internet money, because if somebody goes to Change now directly, it's also going to increase the limits there. So it just makes the tools better for the entirety of PulseChain. But also, one thing that we have high on the priority list, it may even be the next thing we work on after all the DApp connection stuff, is integrating the PulseChain bridge directly into the wallet. So at least from Ethereum to PulseChain, there won't be limits. But that's, hey, if the community finds that important, that'll probably be the next thing we do.
Yeah, that's really cool to know. And that's definitely something that would be very worthy of putting on the roadmap. Yeah, so I'm really happy to get that clarity, because I was really a little bit confused by those maximums, and I didn't even know that there were differences in maximums with regard to the different chains. So,
oh yeah, like Ethereum to Base, I could do like $3 million, but
wow.
But Ethereum to PulseChain, it's like $200. So it just goes to show the industry lack of support for PulseChain.
Yeah, it's like prejudice. It's a form of passive discrimination.
To a degree, to a degree, yes. Yeah, I mean, because it's not that there's no money to be made here. Like, we keep telling them, hey, because they ask us, how can we help you grow? And our answer is the same every time. Our largest user base is on PulseChain. You have these arbitrary limits. If you increase the limits, you would get more volume and make more money. Like you want a different answer from us, but that is the answer. Like just turn the limits up.
Can you imagine hating a founder and hating a community so much that you actually go out of your way to sabotage your own operations because of that hate? Like, okay. Imagine that.
Okay, I just in case Chains Now is watching, I'm going to say that I appreciate them because they could not support PulseChain at all, right? So I'm going to say thank you and extend that grace because, hey, $300 is better than $0, right? So for some people, the $300 suits their needs just fine. It becomes more of a mid-size to a whale problem. And there's a lot of mid-size money movers, right? A lot of people are moving out at least $1,000. So Change Now.
Yeah, and for the people out there that haven't yet tried out the bridge on the Internet Money Wallet, highly recommend people actually properly test it out. I've been easily preferencing using the bridge that's on your wallet versus and the other bridges are okay, but that honestly, like other bridges that I've used are way slower.
Mm-hmm.
Which, but ideally when it comes to bridging, and we've seen sort of like how just some of the evolution that's happened over the last sort of year and a half, 2 years in DeFi, or even just in crypto in general, people want speed with bridging. They don't have to wait necessarily even 20, 30 minutes for the final confirmations.
Like when it 60 goes 60 seconds sometimes.
With yours, man, like when I actually did it for the first time, I'm like, wow, like what the hell? How is it? I've never seen something operate so speedily and efficiently in the context of bridging before. So that was a really pleasant surprise. And each time I've done it, it's consistent. It's not like you do one bridging and it's an anomaly that works great, and then other times it doesn't. It's 100% consistent across the board. So yeah, I definitely recommend people out there listening to familiarize yourself with the bridging infrastructure. And also the UI is very friendly. You go into the transactions tab and you can actually follow it, over the steps of, when, from the time it gets deposited to the time that it gets, received on the other side. Yeah, it's easy. So,
thank you for saying that. It makes me excited to hear that positive feedback. Thank you.
Of course, man. Let's see. I'd like to know. Yeah, I'd personally like to know what your personal prognostications are for PulseChain as we go deeper into 2025, just in terms of like general sentiment, price, all that kind of stuff. Especially in the context of coming off the heels of defeating the SEC as well.
So that loaded question to a degree.
Of course, when it comes to like price-related questions and performance, I get like, you got to be careful how you frame things because of some potential listeners, but just whatever you feel like you want to share with regards to where you see PulseChain going for the rest of this year.
Sure. So I was a bit surprised. Well, it was interesting rather to see how the ecosystem reacted to Richard Hart and team beating the SEC, right? That's actually huge news. Huge. And it got some media coverage, which we kind of expected, right? We knew that was going to happen. But it seems like the community, it didn't even really pump. It's almost like the pump prior to the news was the news pump, right? It was a buy the rumor, sell the news event, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Which is a little disheartening because it's like, well, so what that shows me is we brought in no new buyers. And the question becomes,
well, at least not yet. At least not yet.
Correct. So the question becomes, what's that thing? And we're always trying to brainstorm on this. That's going to bring in new buyers. What is that thing? Because we have the ecosystem, we have the community, we have the social impact. What is that thing that's going to unlock the door? And I think a big part of that, while part of it is technical, teams like Internet Money, other teams building the things they're building, the community playing their part, which they do well. I don't know, the only thing the community can really change maybe is to stop being so mean to people, but that's a whole other topic.
The very fact that the community is even here in one piece at all,
that's true too.
Is almost a miracle in a way.
That is true. Nobody can call the people still standing lettuce hands. You have shredded those lettuce hands and revealed your diamond mitts. Don't let anybody take that from you. But I think also a big part of it is Richard coming back. You know, he's here, right? He's still posting and fighting the government, but coming back in that way that brought us all in the first place. I kind of think that is a huge missing element in all this. And look, he did beat the SEC. He's still fighting Interpol, however that's going. So maybe that's the reason he hasn't jumped back on scene. But I really think that when he does come back and we get black t-shirt, Hex logo, Richard Hart just rapping about crypto and DeFi. And can you imagine the day where he's actually on stream for a few hours, talking about PulseChain, talking about updates, talking about projects being...
It feels like ancient history. Like, yeah, it's been so long.
I really think once that happens, I think that's what's missing at this point. And to ultimately answer the question, 2025, if it continues, if things remain unchanged, things are just like they are now, we'll probably see some sideways and then maybe downward action. Maybe we'll get some ancillary pumps from the broader crypto market pumping. But I mean, I think RH needs to come back. I put that in quotes. And we need to get coverage out there. And maybe we get coverage without RH, but at this moment in time, that's like it's 1990 Chicago Bulls without Michael Jordan right now. They would have been a good team, but they wouldn't have been the 1990 Chicago Bulls. You know what I mean? So we need our MJ.
Yeah, so I'm just going to quickly open up the comments, and I just want to give a big shout out. And I literally just looked at the view count. 555 people are in here viewing right now. Like,
welcome.
you could not get a more powerful synchronicity right there.
Oh, yeah, nice.
In the context of the Hex's numbers. So yeah, appreciate everyone that's tuning in and showing their support and all that. Seeing a lot of cool names up in the comments. We've got so I see RH Max in here. Hextech 16. Yes. Who else? Tam's in here. Yeah. So got a lot of so I mean, if there's anything else that you can think of that you want to talk about with regard to your wallet and what you've got in store in the near future, if there's anything else that's even outside of the wallet that you're working on that you want to share, plug your stuff and let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, one thing I would like to touch on real quick, if you're open to it, because we started to go there, but is the time token, if you're open to that?
Yes, yeah. So spend a bit of time going into that for sure.
Okay, So I'm going to share my screen again here. Yep, I'm good when you're ready.
Oh, good.
So something that we launched relatively recently, within the last 2 months or so, is we really revamped our stats page, and we're going to continue to add more stats to this. But this is a new release. So one thing you can see right at the top is the wallet downloads, and we've been growing really well. This represents, in this time frame, this update, about 170 downloads a day every day for about 2 weeks. So we are growing, and our average downloads per day is going up, which tells me that we're really growing beyond the PulseChain community, not leaving it behind, but growing beyond it, which is great because you're always going to see us talk about other chains. I was talking about Polygon yesterday, but when people download the wallet, they're introduced to PulseChain because the wallet is native to PulseChain. So if they want to, if we're out there talking to Polygon people and they're like, oh, this sounds like a great wallet for Polygon, they download it. They physically have to touch the PulseChain logo to switch to Polygon. How cool is that?
That's cool, man.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, regardless of where we go, we're literally putting PulseChain in people's hands, literally.
And wallets literally need to be agnostic with chains. Got to be talking because it's the conduit between chains at the end of the day. Always will be. So, but yeah, that's a really beautiful element of, just when people get directed to downloading the wallet, they can't, PulseChain is, in their face.
It's there. Yeah. So that's been some bullish news for wallet downloads. Now, what I want to talk about is our token time. So for those that know time, you'll be hearing this again. For those that don't know, time is very innovative in what it does. No other wallet in crypto is doing this. We invented this model. So going back to our in-app swap feature, which let's just use PulseChain in this example, but we have our in-app swap feature on 7 chains. Right now it's on these 7 chains: PulseChain, Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, Base, Arbitrum, and Avalanche. So in the app, you can swap any token on those chains with our DEX aggregator, or you can just our in-app swap. Okay. On PulseChain specifically, it is our swap, or our DEX aggregator, gives you access to more liquidity than any other place on PulseChain. Some might say Pateus, great tool, but we aggregate more liquidity than Pateus because we aggregate 2 Pateus and then 14 individual DEXs. Some are even the forked DEXs from when PulseChain was launched. We have 5 forked DEXs. Okay, so we can nerd out on DEXs, but it's 15 liquidity sources on PulseChain right now. Well, in the swap occurs, we compare all of those places that liquidity is available side by side, and then the user, you, are able to select where you want to swap, but we show you the highest yielding place. Okay. There's a small fee that's charged. 100% of that fee is distributed to time holders. Other wallets, 100% of that fee goes back to the team, which is fine. We're not upset about people making money. We just chose a different model. 100% of the revenue generated by our in-app swap feature on Android, iOS, and Chrome is paid to time holders.
Oh, no, I love that, because there's a legitimate justification for that higher
exactly.
fee tier.
A service is actually being rendered.
At least people know that there's like there's a genuine, there's it empowers the users of the actual wallet itself, and the tokens connected to the wallet itself, for having that. So it's beautiful. I respect that.
Well said, and thank you. And so many people may ask, oh, well, am I just getting paid in time, some other token I have to dump? No, the opposite. You get paid, in PulseChain's case, in Pulse. So the fee that the users pay to swap is in the native coin, so PLS. So if you're holding time, you're actually earning passive income in PLS. Now, other systems do this, right? Where you hold and you earn Pulse or whatever. And those systems can be great. But usually the fatal flaw in those systems is they are volume based on that token itself. That specific token has to be traded. And then when it stops being traded, the rewards stop. In our system, it doesn't matter what people are swapping. If you're a time holder, the shill isn't buy time. The quote shill is get a higher yielding swap for whatever you're swapping within the internet money wallet. You don't have to talk about time and you still get paid. I don't really know. I don't know of another token that's doing that specifically. So you hold time. You don't have to stake it. You don't have to lock it up. You hold it and you can claim as frequently as you choose. So on our stats page here, it's really cool. I have a whole tutorial on our YouTube channel. I really break this down, but I just want to show a couple high level stats.
Yep.
You can see that in the last 30 days, there's all these different intervals, but in the last 30 days on PulseChain, we've done about 5.5 million in swap volume, which has resulted in time holders being paid about $40,000. Now, this is $40,000 in PLS at the time it was distributed. This is not, hey, if Pulse does a 10x, this is still going to show $40,000. So that's another cool thing is not only are you earning passive income, your time can increase in value and your PLS can also increase in value. So there's actually three levels of value here. So that's time in a nutshell. We can dive deeper, but that's the high level overview. And there's some other game theory and tokenomics associated with it as well, of course.
And yeah, was there another token that you wanted to briefly talk about? I think it's the internet money token itself, and is there some kind of tokenomics / game theory connection between those two tokens or not?
No, there's not, and I'm happy to dive into it if you want to. But really, for those who are just learning, time really is the flagship. If you want to dive into the ecosystem, dive into time. I'll show you here. Let me share another screen real quick. The ultimate game theory for time, not the ultimate, but one layer of the game theory. I'm going to go ahead and share screen again here. Is time has a buy and burn feature. So everything that I just said about time, we have built contracts that you can deposit your time into. Anybody can deposit or withdraw their time at any time. So this time buy and burn is actually holding time, which all of the revenue that it's earning is being used to buy and burn time. So right now on PulseChain, about 2% of the time supply is in the time buy and burn, which means that 2% of all the wallet revenue is going to buying and burn time. This number fluctuates. People participate at different levels. So what's bullish about that is buy and burns, right? You're buying the token off the open market, which is usually price positive, and then it's deleting it from existence. All right, that's a benefit. Thing number two is not only are time holders earning passive income because of swap volume, right? If the swap volume goes up, you're going to earn more passive income, more dividends, as we call them in our system. But as time gets burned, there are less units of time, which means your portion of the passive income is increasing passively. So if you're holding 1% of time today, that means you're earning 1% of the revenue on PulseChain. Let's say enough time gets burned to now you're holding 2% of the remaining supply. Well, you just doubled your passive income generation without buying another token. So the buy and burn is deleting coins and increasing your passive income passively. So That's a whole other element of the game theory. And we also have this buy and burn for many of the ecosystem tokens, including every swap within the Internet Money Wallet buys and burns Hex, PulseX, and Ink. How crazy is that?
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I've been I've been pretty impressed with all the tokenomics involved with. I mean, I'm sure you'll remember. I have put out a whole bunch of tweets over the journey, extending attention capital on what you've been doing, and this was like even well before there was any kind of consensus in the ecosystem and community overall in the beginning, because obviously there would have been a lot of jitters around a lot of the new protocols after PulseChain launch. Trying to figure out what's which protocols are good, which ones are bad, or there's always that process involved when a chain first launches. But
of course,
as you know, I can't emphasize enough just how the respect and the growth that your product is experiencing now is speaks volumes to all the work and time that you've put in, pardon the pun, that you've put into everything that's been invested into making your product the reality that it is today. So much respect, brother, much respect.
Thank you for that.
And hopefully, like, your product can serve as an inspiration for a lot of new builders who might not necessarily be who might have been considering exploring the PulseChain ecosystem and exploring DeFi in general, but after seeing the path that you've laid for your product and the success that it has had already. Not even talking about what the incredible heights that it can go to further down the line. What's the best way of putting it? It's just it's going to be very positive going into the future, knowing that there are products like yours that are serving as pillars for DeFi, because you look at how the kind of assault that DeFi has received from various angles from the industry. I mean, the fight has never been more pivotal at this stage in the game for DeFi itself. So let's. I think it's a pretty good time to wind up the stream. So just another big shout out to all the over 600 people that are tuning in. Awesome numbers. Thanks to all the people putting in the comments. I've been reading through a whole bunch of them. Appreciate you all. KG, appreciate your time for sharing all the updates that's been happening with Internet Money Wallet, everything that's been going on with you. And just before closing it all out, let everybody know who's listening where they can find you in the socials or anywhere else, and we'll close it out.
While I do that, do you mind putting my screen on the screen?
Sure.
So this is the time chart on PulseChain. As you can see, time holders are doing very well. And even though PulseChain has been in somewhat of a bear market, time holders have continued to win. Now, we launched time within the first 10 days of PulseChain's existence. So we are one of the oldest, maybe the oldest native product on PulseChain that didn't come over with the fork. So if you like earning passive income, if you like what has historically been positive price appreciation, internetmoney.io time holders are winning and making money right now, today, and every day. And we don't suffer privacy or security, and we're continuing to build, we're continuing to innovate. We are a wallet built by the people, for the people. We hear your voice. We're listening. If you have feature requests, if you have issues, let us know. We're here for you. If you want to get in contact with me, the best way is through internetmoney.io. If you're ever going to join our Telegram, follow us on X, please do that. But make sure to only communicate in those official channels found on internetmoney.io. I'm KG, the founder of internetmoney.io. T-Bird, thank you for all your kind words and your insight today, and appreciate you always supporting us and giving us a voice.
Always a pleasure. And just before I end things, just a reminder for all the viewers that are in here right now. If you enjoy and want to show support for what I do, the primary source of my content output is on my Twitter/X account, which is x.com/TheRealTBirdHex. And that's the best place to find all my daily updates and all the content I put out, whether it's crypto related. And we didn't get into this stream as much, but if you'd like to come on again sometime in the future, we can sort of delve into the esoteric side of things and how that sort of ties in with crypto as well.
I'm all for that. Absolutely. We got to have a round 2 on that. Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. So sending out the love out there. Thanks to everyone who's been tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.